Be playing today. Let's bring up the map veto system for you between these two teams, and you'll have the two maps blocked out in both Cafe Dostoevsky and Coastline. Immediate bans coming out to Border, Villa, Bank, Clubhouse, and Consulate. A map that we actually haven't seen all that much of across all three regions so far this season.
Yeah.
What was one of the most played maps in all of Pro League for a long period of time is going to be the site for our very first matchup today, with BDS starting on defense.
Yeah, Consulate's a really good map for these squads, I'd say. You're going to see a lot more, hard contact action. Whereas usually, of course, everybody talks about the old days of Vitality where they were slow and methodical. We're past that now, but they're still a relatively strategic team. They're a little bit more on the strat side of the medium. And I'd say that with a map like Consulate, you're going to see a little bit more of their raw skills start to shine and come out here. You get the same thing for BDS. And of course, with BDS, that's really their mainstay. That's what people talk about when they think about this squad, and that's, Shaco specifically, who needs to have a good performance here. And I'd say that if Shaco really comes alive today, then BDS might have a really good shot here.
So we're going to need a big performance from Shaco, and we're going to have all the stars wake up on Vitality and BDS as what could end up being a very close matchup. What do you think, though? Let's pick your brain. Is it going to be Vitality or is it going to be BDS? That's a pretty close vote. 54% of you saying Vitality, 6% drawn, 40% for BDS.
No, I mean, it's really fair to say that a lot of people are going to angle towards BDS just because of what, it's because of Shaco. People are looking at that team, looking at that roster, and thinking to themselves, that's a super team. That's a squad that's got what it takes to win and go to the finals at the end of the season. But they haven't had their season really shine just yet. We'll see if this is where it begins for BDS as we load into Consulate, map number 1 in this best of 1. I don't know why I said that. Now, it's going to be BDS starting on defense and Vitality starting on attack. So BDS, of course, will ban first.
On a map like Consulate, it's not strange to see one of the hard breachers get taken out. Thatcher is also a very common ban on a map such as Consulate.
Similar effects there. I mean, if you we've seen Habana banned if you want to have a better defense upstairs. We've seen Thermi banned if you want to have a better defense downstairs. And we'll see Thatcher banned because Thatcher bans are universally useful. Doesn't even matter what map you're on. Nomad will be banned for the second operator. That's really key there. And that was by Vitality, which actually kind of surprises me. So the reason you ban Nomad is because this is one of her best maps. She prevents, or at least hinders, the run out from windows, yellow stairs, so many places that you can run out on Consulate where you can cause the attackers a lot of grief. And getting rid of the Nomad, I would have assumed BDS would have been the ones to do that. But Vitality, that's them saying, we want to get aggro on you. And that response there with the Valkyrie ban is BDS saying, okay, we see your aggro, and we'll make it a little bit more difficult by denying you information outside. That's a very smart ban as well. Both Nomad and Valkyrie make tons of sense on Consulate. So a little bit different than our usual ban phase. Mira's in play, but of course, as we talked about in the past, Mira on Consulate is just, she's okay. Just, she's not really that game-changing here. In fact, it's better to bring operators like a Clash, which we will actually see RXWD bringing out. He might 6-pick off of that. We've seen Clashes, yeah, and there's the 6-pick. We've seen Clashes brought out just to say, hey, we got a Clash, what are you going to do about it? And then they don't actually play Clash because I don't know. Some people really like it. Some teams really like it. But it's a very situational operator. Clash is a very situational operator, I should say. It'll be middle floor for the first round.
Not often that you see a lobby start here. That is a fascinating one. A viable site just as the other two that you tend to see teams roll out as 1 and 2. That'll be the console office upstairs meeting, and then downstairs you also will see the garage defense happen. The man that I'm going to be watching today is going to be a Lems. No real surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, it's... BDS has kind of put him in the crosshairs. And, that's really, like, in this realm, that's okay. Like, that's part of this equation. It's part for the course, I guess I could say. So we'll see what he manages to bring out here today. Now, you got to remember, he's a new addition to the roster, so go a little easy, guys. But definitely, he is a player to watch. Vitality Looks like they're going to be setting up for a meeting take. No, you gotta get projector meeting because it's going to allow you to control above the lobby site. One thing to note is we've got a lot of C4 and we've got a pulse, which means that it's C4 denial from below for BDS. You can deny plant in the main lobby by throwing C4 through the 2 available drop-downs. You can pretty much access anywhere in the main lobby, or at least any of those common plant spots from those drop-downs with a C4. That's why you saw the garage reinforced, and that's the whole strategy here for BDS.
First confrontation could be between Hungry on Upside Down Repel, looking into meeting, or projector as people call him. Shaco not too nearby, aware of the positioning of Vitality.
We can settle on meeting, it's easier.
I think meeting is definitely easier here. Vitality's got 2 members that are literally standing right in front of the main door, and they can just walk on in. Bibu's going to take no time to drop down. First kill's going to go into Shaco. Alems get dispatched by Bibu. Diffuser going down. Shaco knows it. Will Goga be able to get the plant off? Oh, not close enough. Shaco with a second kill amidst the smoke. Goga takes a pounding. There's another for Bibu as Bibu runs on up, and Shaco is prepared and ready for it. Call from his team. Doing some damage onto that diffuser, thinking that somebody's going to pick it up. There's Brede to remove Rafal from the match. Back to a 2v2. We have half of the round to go as well.
Yeah, Vitality went for a rush plant, and it almost worked out. Just barely didn't. Shaco, right time, right place, and 3 kills to show for it. But there's still plenty of time in this 2v2, as you said, and that means that Vitality, sure, HP disadvantage, but they're going to be able to slow down and play this smart and try and clutch it out. They need to retrieve their diffuser. They know Shaco's still probably above holding this angle. There's not a lot of angle to work with for Shaco. If he gets smoked off, it could be difficult for him to actually influence the round. The question is, will the smoke come in? And yes, it will, is the answer. Beautiful placement. But Brid gets downed by a spray from Shaco through the floor. RXWD forced back by the spray in response from Stiggy, who's trying to pick up his teammate. Will he be successful? He's very close. And there it is, Shaco with the 4K. Will he get the ace? Going aggressive on main lobby. Full HP Shaco versus a half HP Stiggy. Even with the F2, that's dangerous. Shaco pushing up, and there's the ace to start things off. Beautiful job from BDS and Shaco specifically.
Well, you mentioned that you're going to need a big game from Shaco in this place, and he didn't look like he had all the information that he needed. There's only so many places that you could plan. I thought I heard pinging going off, but I think that ping might have been the drone onto Shaco for Stiggy.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you have information there, Shaco's going to be able to read that pretty easily, I'd say, based on the plant sound. He, and by he I mean Stiggy, had to have been one of 2 different places really to get that plant off, because there was no vault drop, which means he couldn't have been behind the desk. Nobody's going to strafe around into the opening of the desk in that situation. So, and nobody ever plants on there because of the drop down. And he couldn't have, because I'm sure it was open. Anyway, the point I'm trying to get at is Shaco read that well. Good control from above. Great positioning. Big thing there for Shaco. Again, right time, right place. You saw at the beginning of the round especially, all of Shaco's teammates dying one after another around him. But then Shaco's always there to get the kill in response, to keep his team in it. And, well, that's what you need out of a pure fragger. And he is filling that role really well.
Put him on the Mozzie, and Mozzie can be used as a fragging operator as well once his pests are down.
Yep.
He's kitted out, man.
I imagine this is going to be a top floor roam, and that's why they brought the Mozzie. Because you put up Mozzie pests in strategic locations on the top floor, and you can effectively cut off the droning entirely. So like, let's say you want to place CEO side at top floor, you set up a line of pests from the admin office side. Nobody on attack will be able to drone you from admin office. Like, it just won't happen if you can do it correctly. And obviously Shaco's got that stuff planned out, so he can really slow down the attack in that way.
Deploying drone.
Well, you mentioned that upstairs roam, and no real time being wasted by Vitality as they're going for a pincer take. The upper day on the repels over by the console office, and Bibu is on it. Gets spotted on one cam, and then immediately takes the other. Shaco's waiting for him with the Roni in hand, situated at the top of yellow stairs. And there he goes, but he loses the fight. Oh my goodness, Bibu with a great shot. Not many are able to outduel Shaco, but the ACOG at that range will beat the Roni most days.
We were talking about old teams. Let's talk a second about old players. Not literally old, but as in being around in Siege for a long time. Bibu's one of those, an old-time vet, been around since pretty much the beginning, and he has never left his stride. Throughout his whole career, pretty much consistently playing as a top player, and already a really important kill at the beginning of the round, getting the only player who got kills on the enemy team the last round. There goes one of the Electro Claws, too.
2 seasons ago, Bibu had some of the best performances that we'd ever seen actually out of him, dropping multiple dozens of kills in certain rounds. I think there was one round where he got like 18 kills or something like that. I can't remember if his team won. It was on Cafe, if I remember correctly. It was.
Yeah.
He's had an absolute stellar performance, and I think you're very correct with that. It's that you haven't seen any fall off from Bibu's performance, and to be in Pro League as long as he has, it's not uncommon to see players get washed up or, you know, see their time in the twilight. Not him.
Yeah, definitely not Bibu. He's going to open up above Piano, trying to make the anchors move a little bit more, keep them on their toes. Rafael does have a C4, so there could be some counterplay here from the defense. It's all going to come down to the timing, the situational awareness of Rafael. Possibly a C4 and RXWD as well.
Only one portion of the garage opened up by Gogo, which means that there will be some clearance and some protection. So he goes on in and just manages to evade a gas canister for the time being. Renshiro guns down Stiggy. So the Avenge of Shaco comes out. Lem's dropped from the coverage of above as RXWD trades off Hungary. It's a 3v3 with Diffuser down and objective for Vitality. Outruns RXWD, but it's to his death as Goga catches him. Rafal and Renshiro in a 2v3. Claymore's on the door. It'll stop Rafal from being able to work outwards, but he gets gunned down anyway from Goga watching him. Nobody checking Rafal's back. The Alda's a great gun, but a retake here on the garage Consulate is some of the hardest things that you can do on defense. And Renshiro's not going to make even a little bit less noise than any other operator. There's the sledge from above, though, and Bibu. Tremendous OBJ work up above and giving his team the cover that he needed. The second round's going to go to Vitality.
So there's a couple key points there for both teams. Number one for Vitality, got to say, their teamwork is just spotless. Their ability to gain control of just what Vitality needs before they execute onto the site is exactly what they need in order to win. They make a little bit of sacrifice. We saw there, I believe it was Stiggy, make a rush in, but that was actually thought out. They didn't just throw Stiggy in haphazardly. They're like, no, we're going to throw him in to cover for the plant. We actually saw, I believe it was the Maestro, not get the denial on the planter, even though that Evil Eye can down the planter before the planter can plant, if played correctly. But it was played incorrectly because the Maestro, again, was distracted by a sacrifice from Team Vitality. I just love the calculated nature of the way Vitality played that. On the BDS side of things, there were two key things to point out on the flaw column here. The main thing was the roam upstairs. If you're going to bring a Mozzie to support a roam upstairs, then my advice to you is to actually have a roam upstairs. Shaco was trying to play the top of yellow stairs as a quick fallback, so he didn't need to worry about, am I going to escape or not? There are alternatives to this. Many people will do CEO and then use the drop down. Of course, that is exposed to the windows or if the attack already has piano. And it gives you a better position and more ground to work with to fight the people you're going to be confronting. Bibu was ready for somebody at the top of yellow, won that fight. Then your roam is gone, and it was very efficiently cleared by Vitality, which is important to note, especially given there was a Mozzie. The second thing to note for BDS is, again, their poor utility play on the objective. But really, with Vitality having as much time as they did, the utility was less of a factor because, again, plenty of time for Vitality, and then more importantly, plenty of manpower. So those sacrifices really came in strong for them. Or the ability to sacrifice, I should say.
Right. Round number 3, you can hear some intel for RXWD as he catches one of the drones. That's a piece of Vitality's tools taken away from them and instead given to the defenders. Those Mozzie pests not just working as area denial, but additionally as some intel for the defenders. Full flash for a Lems on yellow, and he goes right into Stiggy's waiting arms. Say goodbye, but there's already utility going off as the fire would have likely caught the heel of the smoke. He had nowhere to go, and in between that rock and a hard place, he finds himself with an early grave.
The coordination here from Vitality is top-notch. I mean, they know what they want to accomplish. They want to get yellow stairs control, and it is already partially done. Not fully, mind you. Beretta's going to secure this control by getting on the skylight, Now, he will fall off, but he'll get back up there. Shaco eliminates Bibu as Bibu attempts to, I believe, repel in. Yes, and now there's one of your best players gone if you're Vitality. So that's really good situational awareness from Shaco to hold that angle from CEO.
It's very likely that the pests from RXWD are denying Vitality's ability to drone out Shaco, who's just sitting in the main doorway at the top of yellow stairs. He's not even trying to be secretive about it. We'll see if the pest is really to blame or not, as there was that one drone grabbed earlier. Repel in from Stiggy could prove to be just as fatal as what we saw from Bibu. Meanwhile, the pulse down below of Renshiro is going to come to the rescue, and you'll see RXWD there. 2 kills for Shaco, but he's ended from Stiggy. Back to a 3v3 we go with 1 body down below. 2, actually, as RXWD still has not ascended the yellow stairs. You've got Bride sitting like a hawk over top of that skylight, just daring RXWD to push up.
Yeah, Bride is going to have a lot to do in this round. He has to cover. There's still a Maestro in CEO, and he sees his target, lands a few shots. Hungry on low HP. Rafael pivots and gets Sticky, and he's going to continue to do so, just trying to hold on to as many angles as possible as a single player. He's lost a little bit of HP, but Rafael is still holding true in CEO. And Hungry, trying to pressure from the window, doesn't even have a stun to repel in with. Bride will have to go in bathroom window. He doesn't have a choice. C4 too early from RXWD, but he knows where his prey is, and it's going to be an easy kill. There's the smoke to cover, and a kill for Bride, so that's really good progress. But with 6 seconds left, Bride has to find 2 more players. He cannot do that. So a nice try from Vitality, but too much time wasted on the yellow staircase. And not enough time pressuring the site.
2 big things that fell apart for Vitality, as almost 85 to 90% of that round occurred on yellow stairs. First and foremost, the way that the floor was shot out inside of that little cubby or closet, or what people like to refer to it as, allowed that Maestro to play so powerfully. Not only does he patrol those 2 windows, as you could see, when Hungry went on to repel, they didn't really have any intel to try and work with to figure out the positioning of Rafael, but rather that the ult is going to be able to chew through that wall and still do pretty decent damage with how close that Maestro is playing. And you don't really need to worry too much about him getting pressured if Shaco is backing him up at the top of yellow stairs, which is the second part of that equation. Was that whether it was the Mozzie pests as the culprits or just simply negligence from Vitality, nobody unearthed Shaco's location, which was a very obvious spot, standing clear as day in the middle of a doorway, holding the top of yellow stairs. It seems like Vitality either didn't do their due diligence or just simply were denied from BDS. We can't tell because we didn't see their drone pattern, but regardless, it cost Vitality 2 lives on the stairs and a lot of utility, even after they got things rolling, by taking a lens out early on.
It wasn't even just at the top of yellow stairs, too, because Shaco was peeking in CEO as well. Yeah. He kept going between the 2 places and just wildly peeking things. And he, I believe, got a kill from CEO, or maybe 2. He got one on CEO repel. That's the sort of thing that should definitely be shut down if you're an attacker. Maybe put 2 people on CEO repel to fix that problem if you're going to lose the fight for 1. But always trade them out. We actually saw Vitality get pretty darn lucky because Sticky hit a shot challenging Shaco to shut him down. But at that point, Shaco had already gotten, what, 3 kills? Again, you're going to need a top performance from your fraggers on a map like this, and Shaco is really giving us that. Now, Mute Jammer is going to slow things down here for Bibu, but he'll spot out the Mute. Now, there's no Thatcher in play, and obviously Kali is not available to play in comp yet, so it'll require an Ash Charge or something along those lines to get the Mute Jammer. Ash Charge unsuccessful, so Goga's going to have to move his exothermics around until he finds a gap in this, and he will. Just took him second try.
I wonder if we're going to see Vitality do the same thing, where they only open up a portion of the wall and give the rest as coverage in the post plant. Down goes Bibu, who was instrumental in the last take that Vitality made on Garage, which was successful, need we remind you, in that second round. So the opening pick going in favor of BDS, and most importantly, taking him out with that explosive is Bibu. Now there goes Stiggy, too, with the Lems, holding that second floor, and nobody from Vitality watching the windows.
That Evil Eye is going to be just such a pain for Vitality. They need to have a lifeline or something along those lines to get it, or they're not going to be able to plant. And there you go. This is why that Evil Eye is a pain. Bride will get RXWD, who gets a little too aggressive on the meeting balcony. So progress made for Vitality, but they're kind of just hanging outside the garage, not really doing anything, not accomplishing anything, and they still have so many hurdles to get over, whether it be the Nitro Cell from Rafael at the back of White, or the Evil Eyes from Renshiro, which are going to be able to deny any kind of plant attempt, or the fact that the garage is not entirely open, or possibly just the fact that we're down to the last 67 seconds.
The other thing, too, is that with both of those Evil Eye cams up, it's just the farther that clock goes down, the more trouble you're going to end up in, and the more power that you give to BDS when, you know, Renshiro's just going to play deep back because they don't need to put the Maestro in a position of danger yet when you've still got 3 capable fraggers in the hands of Alems, Rafael, and Shaco to carry that weight. Speaking of Shaco, he's sitting by pipes, which is where Hungry is dancing around. Shaco can't get anything with that target prioritization. Down goes a C4, Rafael pulling double duty, and Alems is there to clean up. BDS slaughtering Vitality on that push. They find themselves with a 3-1 advantage now.
So no clear upstairs from Vitality. That's fine. You can do that if you're attacking onto Garage. Perfectly reasonable. But if you plan on doing that, what you also need to accomplish is, one, this is important, get the garage entirely open. Because if you're not clearing out upstairs, then you need to have plenty of room to maneuver when you're pushing in through the garage. Otherwise, the defenders that will be upstairs will shut down that bottleneck of the garage vertically. And we even saw that coming into play at the beginning of the round. Another thing, if you are not going to clear out upstairs, you cannot leave yourself exposed in any way to that upstairs roam, and there are ways to avoid that exposure. Positions you can play that won't get C4'd, and positions you can play that cannot be peeked from CEO windows. Now, it limits your options as an attacker, sure, but again, that is the, I guess, the cavern, the crevasse that you've put yourself in. You have to play around your options, which are slim to none, because you didn't clear out the top floor. I'm not saying that Vitality has to clear out the top floor. I'm just saying that they need to stick with what they have access to. In this case, or in that last round, I should say, I guess, they didn't, and they left themselves exposed to 2 picks early on, which slowed down the take quite significant. Now it'll be middle floor again.
5 seconds to go.
We'll see if this is going to be a success for Vitality. The big thing is, last time they attacked middle floor, they didn't clear anything. Also, they put Bibu downstairs, and that was like the extent of the clear, and then he went upstairs and got 1 more kill. But they didn't fully clear upstairs or downstairs, and then they just tried to plant inside the main lobby. I gotta say, from a viewer perspective here, for someone who watches a lot of Pro League, every single time, yeah, I do.
Watch a fair bit of it, eh?
Every single time I see an attacker team lose on middle floor of Consulate, it's almost always because they all just sat outside the front door and tried to plant and did nothing else.
So, I mean, I believe they sing Kumbaya to each other. That is what I've been told.
Yeah, they're just...
As somebody who's never even coming close to sniffing an actual game of Pro League, I just have to go off of what I'm told from the teams, and surely they would never lie or mislead me. No, that's now 2 rounds in a row, though, where Vitality, as you noted, just didn't do their job, which is to suss out the location of the defenders. And I think the biggest problem that Vitality has, and it was raised by you and I in our very first play day last week, last Monday, was what level of communication is Vitality currently operating at? You know, we've made some very obvious statements about the fact that you've got people who, English is not their mother tongue. They're still, Vitality was still transitioning towards English last season.
Oh.
Doesn't really matter what the communication is here. Shaco has his back turned and will push out, finds the Ash on the Sticky. Very well played. Getting the call, Rafael goes down as 2 kills from BDS are able to be answered by a singular kill from Vitality. Plant going down, but Shaco is there, swings on out. He's going to pick up yet another down. Not a kill, there's the kill finished off onto Renshiro, getting Bibu. So, Vitality trailing, and in a really tough spot with BDS now, looking to extend their lead. They lead by the 2 rounds, could add a 3rd to it. Another EOD burns, Alems runs out. He'll get Bride and then head back on in. And Goga with 25 HP, the former G2 player, well known for their love of Lion, will have to clutch up against BDS. 50 seconds left, tons of time for him to go with if he wants. Spotted on a default cam. BDS just needs to sit very patient. RXWD shotgun is going to hit Goga like a truck. And there you go. Down goes Goga in the collision course with RXWD, and it's 4-1 now for BDS.
Well, exactly what we said needed to happen for BDS is happening, and that Shaco is on a absolute tear. We've yet to see Shaco have a Pro League match where he really comes alive, but I guess that's changing here today because he has been landing his shots. His positional awareness is 10 out of 10, and he has very seriously been the difference maker for BDS. I think if Shaco weren't here right now, we would be seeing a reverse scoreline. But Vitality is having a lot of trouble dealing with him. I think there is something to be said about the strategy of trying to contain one particular player, identifying their operator of choice, and then isolating them on the map. We've heard a couple pros talk about that in the past and how that is something that if you can accomplish, you can often disable and defang a team. And in this case, I gotta say, if Vitality can shut down Shaco, I really do think that they'll start winning. Like, if they can figure that out mid-match.
Just shut down one of the greatest players currently in Pro League. Probably one of the best fraggers that Europe has ever seen.
Of course.
Just shut him down.
It's not an ezy thing.
Just shut him down. If only there were a Twitch emote, Michael, to describe such a obvious statement. Just shut him down. Just shut him down. I couldn't imagine what would come after that.
Just stand still. The thing, though, is that it's definitely feasible. I know you scoff at it, but it is a very feasible thing to do because the thing that stands above individual play in this game 10 out of 10 times is team play. So of course you were talking about communication issues possibly being a thing for Vitality, and yeah, of course, but I don't know, Parker, if one person drones or if two people drone for two people clearing and they find Shaco and they pincer him and kill him, there's nothing he's going to be able to do about that if it's played correctly from Vitality. And in my head, that's the way to win this right now because of how well Shaco is playing. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm saying that is the solution based on what has been playing out over the last 5 rounds.
Has Hungry gotten a single kill yet? Can we get the scoreboard, Marzu?
Let's see.
No, he is not. That is a troubling sign. And we will repeat ad nauseum for people that don't understand that kills and deaths are not the best metric to gauge your contributions onto a team in Rainbow Six. However, Hungry is playing in a role where he should probably be getting kills, and that is the problem.
It depends on the context, depends on the situation, depends on the match, depends on a lot of stuff. And in this case, yeah, he should be definitely putting some more up on the board, especially when you have a performance like Shaco that you have to contend with on the fragger role, because he's really going above and beyond right now. And that is an example of what I'm talking about, what Parker is talking about. Hungry should have won that. There's no question in my mind. But more importantly, Shaco won that. Yeah, okay, it was a little bit of a hiccup from Hungry, but it was a big, impressive play from Shaco individually.
Losing a battle as the upside down repel now gives you one less piece of the puzzle for Vitality, and the disruption that can be caused by Zofia is oftentimes instrumental when you pull off an executor, being able to dislodge one of the remaining members of a team where you don't know their exact location. Now, BDS is once again running this Mozzie like they did before on console upstairs. It's a second floor defense. Shaco knows that he's got Stiggy in his sights, turns around, can't swing on Bibu. 2 kills for BDS and 2 kills for Vitality. Back to a 3v3 with a minute to go. This 3v3 number seems to come up an awful lot between these squads. Vitality have complete control of Yellow Stairs. Goga's on windows, can swing on in at some point. Burdate will join Bibu on Yellow Stairs. So now 2 members of Vitality. Working against them, though, is Alems with those toxic canisters. With 40 seconds left, this is ample time for him to be able to string together the area denial that he wants. Additionally, there's Evil Eyes that are still up that will be giving away the positions of Vitality. ADS grabs a grenade as Bibu marches on towards the main desk. He sees the smoke, he trades out Goga, but he's in a 1v2 and he's not gonna go anywhere. Rafal with the final 2 kills, and what a dominating first half. Yeah, it's a defense on Consulate, but 5-1 for BDS. Vitality just do not look prepared for what this French squad is bringing against them.
Gotta say, Shaco is playing brazenly because he knows he can, and he's getting away with it. BDS, the rest of them, everyone but Shaco, is playing safe, passive, information gathering, trying to support, but not overstepping their bounds because they know that if they just let Shaco do his own thing, hang back, then yeah, okay, he'll get shut down. Shaco will get shut down at some point. And then, yeah, it happened. But he's going to inflict so much damage to the Vitality lineup before he dies that it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. He did his job. He put in work. And he put his team, BDS, in a really powerful position. He did that through the whole first half, guys. 5-1 is a really difficult place to come back from if you're Team Vitality. Maybe Vitality's going to wake up more on defense. We talked about coordination possibly being an issue due to communication. Well, that is mitigated somewhat when you're on the defensive side because defensive setups and defensive synergy comes a little bit more passively in Siege. You don't have to actively force it. It just really comes down to getting your setup right in the prep phase and playing your job and your position correctly. We'll see if that works out for Vitality or if this is going to be a really, really quick match. But yeah, I don't know. That first half, so few moments where it looked like we were going to have Shaco get shut down. And so he tore up Vitality, and at that point, Vitality couldn't execute the site, and the last players on BDS were able to win out the round. That was pretty much the theme of the whole first half.
Yeah, once again, Bibu showing up really big for his team, as you expect him to do, trying to match that offensive firepower of Shaco, as you've noted in a couple of rounds here.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Bibu in this match.
Looking to put a chokehold on this matchup as BDS, with their very first attacking round, a victory here secures the match point and 1 point, which they have yet to get as they sit at 0 points at the bottom of the standings in Europe. A lot of people thought that Vitality coming into this, with the way that they played against G2 last week, would fare much better than this. There's still time to right the ship, but that's not a good start. Sticky Falls to Shaco, the man, the myth, the legend. You're going to hear his name said very often through the remaining 11 weeks after this of Pro League.
Yeah. And he's putting up a performance. Wow, shot like that from RXWD. And you can see that the rest of BDS also having a good moment here. It's not just the one man. But what it is two-man advantage for BDS at the beginning of this round. What could be the precipice of match over. We'll see.
Bibu drones himself down yellow stairs, then continues onward. A frag grenade will clear his path on the spiral stairs. He's on a collision course with Burde. The Alta will surely annihilate him on those stairs if he doesn't check, but there are people that can win those altercations, and Shaco tends to be one of them. Now keep in mind, he does tend to play an operator such as Hibana, so he's got some work to do, especially on the hatches. Goga dispatches Rafael, as it looked like the Twitch was on drone, and now Shaco will try to find the location of the mute, playing upstairs inside a bathroom. Excellent work alongside RXWD. That is clinical. Goga has his back turned to an unreinforced wall inside a bathroom. You usually want to reinforce both of those. And hatches, obviously not that important for Shaco, nor the rest of BDS.
Yeah, that was a curious lack of reinforcement on the bathroom wall, and it's going to cost Vitality dearly. Definitely a huge oversight. Renshiro going to get the better of the smoke. Hungry, who's peeking into the hallway and will not pre-fire because he doesn't have information. Just a wild peek there from Renshiro, but it doesn't matter because he know he did enough damage to win the fight outright. It's all on Maestro, who will also die to Renshiro. BDS clean up another round. We go to match point, and this doesn't really look like much of a competition, to be honest. Parker?
No, not at all. This is one of the most lopsided maps that we've seen in all of Pro League so far. I mean, mind you, we've only played 6 play days here, and
yeah.
You know, you had the APAC matches as well, but this one's all over, but the crying. You can tell that Hungry's inside of his head. He peeked over onto the Zofia, but then did not re-engage, where you know he could have very easily swung and taken it out. This is going to be a tough loss for him in terms of his own statistics.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's not a foregone conclusion that BDS is going to lose this or to win this, but
they can't lose it, yeah.
They can't. There is no loss potential for BDS. They've guaranteed themselves 1 point. It's not a ton of implications in the standings. They will, however, join that 3-point logjam that I believe is currently existing in Pro League. There are, starting the day, 4 teams with 3 points. If BDS prevails, there will now be 4 teams. 5 teams, my apologies. Arithmetic is hard.
Yeah, so we'll see if BDS can put themselves amongst the ranks of European teams that have 1 win so far through the season. But it looks like they're going to do just that, as it's a pretty dominant performance thus far. No 3 points on the board for Vitality. They just cannot get that anymore. So the most that we'll see is Vitality jump up 1, which will put them pretty high, all things considered. But reminder, we're only on the first match of the day. There's lots of points yet to be gained by other teams in Europe. So no matter what, it looks like right now neither of these teams are going to be springing for the tops of the standings. 12 kills from Shaco, 8 from Mibu. And it's really been a story of two names through this match.
As tends to happen with both of these squads.
Yeah. Still no real standout performance other than that. We've seen some really impactful frags from both teams. You can vault, actually, over there. There goes an Evil Eye. It's good efficiency there from Rafael. Every time you can get an Evil Eye with a Twitch drone, it really does put you in a great spot.
A singular Twitch drone can hard counter Maestro's gadgets because it only takes 2 zaps to remove the Evil Eye. So now that one of them's down, the question is, where's the second from Brede?
Twitch is basically just an Evil Eye hunter, Mirror Window hunter if she's being played. You know, anything along those lines. You can get that utility, get those gadgets out of the way. You're being useful to your team.
But Michael, in my ranked game, they continuously zap me in the prep phase.
That's because they don't know how to play Twitch and they're just
Michael,
playing the
you
op
can't
for the
say that about people.
Oh, okay.
Can't
I'm sorry.
say that about people that use their Twitch drones to zap other people. Michael, if Twitch doesn't have 18 zaps, how am I not supposed to kill somebody who's AFK in prep phase, Michael?
You're not.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. That would
Yeah.
stands to reason why they would make that change.
Because that would be silly.
It would be very silly.
Yeah. Now, early kill here for Vitality as they eliminate Shaco. That is the player to kill right there.
That's huge. And it's an opening pick for Vitality that they need on defense. Now they can just sit and not have to worry about the singular hard breacher on BDS. That's another thing, too. Noga finds his second kill onto a Lems, and BDS seem to be in free fall on this round. But there's RXWD. He's downstairs. I don't think Goga knew that there was somebody on that bottom floor. It's a lobby defense, which we've actually seen quite a lot of so far. It's the third crack at it for both teams. RXWD, who doesn't usually add a lot to the scoreboard, is having a banger of a matchup.
Yeah, really.
Not just in terms of the work that he's done with his gadget, that skeleton key in coordination with Shaco in the previous round, and then his denial with Mozzie earlier, but now additionally, the way that he's playing this Buck in an aggressive role.
That's a soft wall again, but oh no, from Yellow Stairs, Bibu. Perfect flank, he'll get the soft destructor. Renshiro does have impact, so he can flank that bathroom still, but it doesn't seem like BDS are going to be able to recover this round.
Head of the Jaeger, but Renshiro is not able to land the shots. Renshiro does not miss. That is a uncharacteristic play from him. Up top is the Jaeger of Bibu, but he's been managed to swing onto Rafael, and the man cannot be slowed down. He'll head back towards Yellow Stairs, and can he collect a third scalp? As it's Renshiro to assault the Yellow Stairs. Lights up Brede. There's Bibu. Falls, but the Maestro swings on out. Brede gets it. Vitality stays alive. 2 rounds to BDS's 6.
The question is, how long are they going to stay alive? As now, Vitality need to win 5 rounds in a row to just draw it. It'll get them a singular point if it happens, but it's certainly not a guaranteed result, nor is it even likely. That round in particular was a victory for Vitality because they managed to pick off Shaco at the beginning. So.
That Shaco pick was enormous, and you could see the reverberations that it had on BDS. You lose your hard destructor, you're not going to be able to get any of the hatches above, you're not going to be able to get that second floor control the way that you want. There's no hard destruction that is, your team is even capable of. And because of that, you have to re-maneuver the troops. And when BDS did that, they got caught primarily by Gogu, who was very able to pick up that second kill after taking out Shaco, and then exist on Yellow Stairs until eventually RXWD found him. But by that point, you've lost the numbers advantage on BDS, you still trailed, you didn't have a lot of tools to be able to do much on that second floor. Bibu was still up there as well, even if you had have tried to drone on in, and then first floor was locked down by the anchors of both Hungry and Brede. It was a tough spot to be in if you're BDS, and honestly, that first domino really was Shaco.
Yeah, I mean, let's make no mistake. Right now, 6-2 scoreline for BDS, Vitality looks like the more versatile team in terms of their in terms of their contributions across the board. Now, yeah, okay, sure, Hungry hasn't been getting any kills yet, but that just means, of course, as he is hungry, he has yet to wake up. So maybe, just maybe, second half, Hungry will hit his stride, and this is where Vitality starts to really come alive, and we actually get that draw. It could happen. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible. What I will say is that right now Vitality are playing a man, well, not a man down. He's contributing in other ways, and he's got quite a few assists. But they're playing in a less than ideal situation right now, and BDS has Shaco on his, I guess, on his peak. But when they lose Shaco, again, because BDS are kind of, I've got to be honest, they're relying on Shaco to do a lot of work right now. Once Shaco's gone, it becomes much more difficult for BDS to actually put rounds together, and we saw that in the last round. We'll see if Vitality can continue to shut him down. I think that's the big storyline here for these for the rest of this match, actually.
Like I said, it's much easier said than done when they say, you know, just shut down Shaco and
just kill
him, but
just kill Shaco.
Just kill Shaco. Why can't you do that?
Well, I know.
I don't get it.
Again, the thing is we've seen teams actually strat around shutting down one specific player. Like, hey guys, we're gonna find his operator. Okay, we found it. Drone him out, and then everybody hunt him.
There was a team at SI a couple years back that, in private, shared with me. We deliberately went out of our way to contain a certain player, and that player was Nesk, and they had deliberately gone through VODs to see if there were any patterns to his entries and stuff like that they could pick up on, and they actually picked up on quite a few of them. Shaco in hot pursuit of Bibu on yellow stairs. And speaking of yellow, well, there's some smoke. 2 kills. One from BDS to start things off, but then there's Goga to eliminate Shaco. Hungary is gone. The smoke is gone. He's still looking for his first kill in round number 9 here of this matchup.
Yeah, but that's a good trade, though. You know, in this round, that's a fine and dandy trade. If you're hungry, if you died to get that kill, if you distracted the rest of BDS, then sure, absolutely.
Technically, it's still it's been a 4v5 the whole time. Now it's just...
Oh, no, don't do him like that. I mean, he did a lot of prep work.
Well, it was a joke. I'm inspired by when Emzo referred to a player as a default cam. I think that's probably one of my favorite burns of all time. But
that is wicked. I never heard that.
Goga picks up his second kill. Stiggy finds one as well. So these teams are just trading off. RXWD will even the odds at 2v2, and this could be the match, depending on what happens with Bibu and Brede. Bibu was known over towards yellow stairs. Oh, he gets punished by RXWD, cannot land the shots onto Brede, but Renshiro's on the window, and it just ends up being who bleeds less. In this case, BDS will shut down Vitality in one of the most lopsided matches that we've seen so far through Pro League. A 7-2 scoreline and a very quick one between these teams. We prepare for Rogue Empire up next after we get through the rigmarole here. What a performance by BDS, but more, I think, than anything, a lack of performance from Vitality.
Certainly a lack of performance from Vitality. Shaco was walking around like he owned the place, and boy did he, with 12